Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Femme Force podcast. My name is Rachael and I am your host. And today I am really excited because I get to be joined by Vibha, who is a somatic leadership coach, a corporate consultant, and an expert in embodying leadership for women and organizations navigating change. And I think this episode is going to be really powerful because we're going to be talking a lot about why women empowerment has kind of stalled, how we can practice different things to define our leadership, and then how corporations can, really come up with plans to create real inclusion. So I think it's going to be powerful for a lot of us going into the new year and, looking for new jobs. The market is happening and figuring out exactly what we're all doing for this new year. So Vibha, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm really, really excited to be here. I mean, I love talking about this. So
It's such a poignant topic right now. I mean, the women in the workplace just came out and seeing those numbers, with the Wall Street Journal and Lean In and their report, it's daunting and a little bit terrifying. And then, you want to have this optimistic hope when you're seeing the numbers and really digging in on the research, it's not great.
Yeah. I hear you. And I share the numbers a lot.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm doing this work, because people need to know the reality, right? Because we're seeing women go to work everywhere. The perception is women can do everything that our mothers, our grandmothers couldn't do. So everything's pretty good, right? It's not.
No, not at all.
Yeah. We're still behind in that we're still not getting the leadership roles. We're still not getting the visibility. There's still so many challenges that we're
not even getting the pay.
We're not even getting the pay.
We're getting the pay.
The foundational issue was actually never resolved. And we've been doing women empowerment for how long? 2-3 decades.
And suffragette movement started.
Yeah, not much has changed. Or the progress has been really, really slow.
Or completely stalled. I think you hit a peak and then we just kind of leveled out and then there's been no progression on it.
Yeah. And I can see women are angry, right?
Yeah.
We're all angry. And yes, you definitely have a right to be angry. But I just see this whole issue, women are angry and then the other side is just defensive. They're not ready to listen. And there are a lot of root cause issues why this is happening, and I'll jump right into it. I think I'm trying to recall the name of this person who wrote this article in HBR. She's written this book. It's called Inclusion on Purpose, and Ruchika Toshian. Yeah, I think that's her name. And she started talking about how the root cause is the unconscious bias. And when I read that, I was like, okay, what is unconscious bias? Most people don't know, right? And when I ask people, do you have bias? And they'll be like, no, I don't have any bias. I'm for equality. I want women to progress. Yeah. But we are doing it unconsciously. I mean, if you look at the research, right, according to neuroscience research, your mind, what you're consciously aware of, the decisions and the behaviors that you are doing or making are only 5%.
Yeah.
Of the total. 95% of the behaviors, the decisions that you make come from the unconscious mind. So
which is insane to think about.
Which is insane. So most people are just walking around on autopilot, right? Yeah. Whenever I start talking to people, they say things to me and I can see what their belief systems are. Yeah. Right. And that's how they're operating. That's their mental model. And they don't even realize it. And I think I came face to face with that reality within me. And I've been a feminist for a really long time.
Yeah.
And that's very sobering. And I was like, damn, I've been doing all this work on myself and I still am carrying all of these biases. And just recently I was looking for a real estate agent. And my husband had spoken to this friend's uncle and he was yeah, we'll do this. I'll get you a home and we'll negotiate and la-da-da. And I had a friend as well. She's a real estate agent, but I didn't think of going to her. And I was like, wait a minute, why didn't I think of her?
Yeah.
And I realized the thought was, is she going to negotiate as hard for me? Is she going to be like finding all the best properties and this and that? So there is this
Of
perception that
course.
we
Yeah.
unconsciously have that if you don't stop and question, you're going to just get carried away with the wave.
Oh,
And you're
1,000%.
gonna, yeah, yeah. And that was my realization. And then I was like, wait, no, we can't go with this guy. We have to first speak to my friend. And he's like, why? I'm like, I support women-led businesses, so I want to give her a
Yeah.
chance.
You're like, we at least need to talk to her and like see what her proposition is, at least give everybody
Absolutely.
the same kind of
Absolutely.
proposition. And it's funny
Yeah.
because even though we're trying, like so many of us are trying to be conscious about like women-owned businesses, small businesses, especially like we're trying as women to like put leaders on the forefront. And it was really funny there because I'm in security, which is like a male dominated and male viewed industry. So different from just being male dominated. Like when you think of a bodyguard, you don't think of me, you think of a very large male. And there was a recent conference, and they had a women led panel for women in security. And it was the women on there are amazing and phenomenal. And they're talking and the men are posting like, this is why you need more women in the organizations. And this is why you need to mentor and help women in leadership and get them speaking opportunities and training. And then like 2 days later, they post a photo of the board of directors for this conference. And it's a bunch of white old men. And I'm literally sitting there going, wow, we're like, you got to walk the walk. You can't just talk the talk.
Yeah.
Like you're sitting here
Yeah.
putting it on LinkedIn, trying to be like, oh yeah, I'm here for equality. I'm like, but are you?
Yeah.
Are you? Because it's a bunch of you that are
Yeah.
exactly the same standing up there saying that women should do it, but shouldn't a woman's voice? Like, what are you're not even diverse in a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's very interesting, right? Because it's very uncomfortable to come face to
Yeah.
face with the unconscious bias. And we don't have the ability, the tolerance to sit with the discomfort, to face the discomfort, because somehow people think like, oh, it's wrong. I'm a bad person if I
Yeah.
have the bias, right? But you have to realize it's part of the conditioning that we've been receiving since the time we were very, very young. And it's not really your fault. But
No.
if once you become aware of it, you choose
Yeah.
to not take action, then it becomes, yeah, you need to then speak up more. So I hear there is this resistance to seeing the unconscious bias in themselves, right? And which is why if you look at the unconscious bias trainings, and I've been in corporate for like 12 years, and every year, I think twice or thrice, we have to do these
same.
trainings. I mean, people are just playing it and going and getting a snack. And like, yeah, there were some questions, like they were so basic. Most
No,
people,
it's like, what would you do if someone said this? You're like, this isn't that hard to figure out what the right answer is.
yeah, it isn't that hard. And the problem is all of it is happening unconsciously. You're not consciously doing this. It's not consciously that managers are giving feedback to women that's personality based instead of real performance based feedback. This is just the conditioning they're operating on. So I think we need to change the way we've been doing things.
Oh, 1,000%, because it's obviously not moving it's not moving the needle enough. And I mean, when I was listening to a podcast this morning and they were talking about women-owned businesses and women ventures and things like that for investing in angel funding. And they were talking about Sophia Ambrose from Nasty Gal. And they're like, she was like, it was the girl boss era. And then we took and we were trajecting. We were taking leadership positions, taking businesses, kicking ass, doing all the things. And then somewhere along the way, girl boss became like a nasty word. Like you didn't want to be associated with it and you plateaued. Well, like you shouldn't be girl bossing is bad because you can't do this and you shouldn't be doing this. Or like, what about being a mother? You can't do both at the same time and all of these things. And it made it was really interesting. So I'm like, no, it did. I remember like I was all for the girl boss era. I was like, yeah, let's get in leadership positions and project my career and do all of these things. And then all of a sudden overnight, it was like, no, you don't want to say that you're a girl boss. You just want to say you're a boss. I'm like, but this was a movement for a reason. Like if I've got to put the word girl on it to like get you to notice it, that's a thing. What do you think about that? And like the era that was?
Yeah, I see that every time women try to do something differently, there will be a negative spin on it.
Yeah.
Right? And this is part of the conditioning. It's part of the conditioning. Once you wake up to the conditioning, you'll see it everywhere.
Yeah.
You see it constantly everywhere. Like, I'll give you an example, like Jacinda Ardern, who was the New Zealand Prime Minister, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she was very emotional. She was very intuitive. She was very empathetic, qualities that are not considered leadership qualities, right?
Yep.
They're nice to have, not a requirement.
It's the soft skills people say they want, but like, do they want them?
Yeah. And when she was there, she got a lot of like pushback and like, oh my God, she's soft. She's a weak leader because of the way she responded to COVID and all of that. But eventually, when the results came in, that approach worked better than anybody else's approach. And then people believe in it. And then they're like, oh, this works. Yeah, So it's always like, there's always pushback. There's always, this kind of critical, very policing. Women get this level of policing that men don't get, because I think Reshma Saujani, she's a political activist in US, and she talked about how men are taught to be brave, go take risks, do your thing, and women are taught and conditioned to be perfect.
Yeah.
And now both of us expect this. We expect perfection out of women. We don't expect perfection out of men. And they will start policing everything. Oh, how she said it. What was she wearing when she said it? Oh,
1,000%.
Yeah. And it's like the level of policing and the critiquing is so like, they never talk about the work.
Yeah.
And when she herself was running for some election, I don't remember, she said that she was on an interview on TV, and they talked about her shoes. She mentioned one line about the shoes that she was wearing, and that was it. The whole interview.
Just turned.
Yeah. And this is what tends to happen. This is the conditioning that we constantly receive from media, from movies. And since I became a mom, I don't have time, but I also did this whole removal thing from my life. I stopped watching mainstream content because I don't want the conditioning anymore.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, I stopped reading the books. I removed those people from my life as well. So there was this whole process of discernment and removal that I went through so that I could finally see what I wanted, what I like really, and how I can change my perception and grow on the inside. So the action is that, and this whole girl boss moment, I kind of see it as women trying to prove themselves as well, right? Women have always had this, like, and I had it when I was young, and I was
we all did. It's my Barbie like, girl core, girl boss office.
I'm not less than a man. I can do what men can't do. And I was like, I'm a man. I'm not a woman. Treat me like a man, and went through that era and I realized I left so much of myself behind.
Yeah.
And so feminine aspect of me, because I didn't want to constantly be in this masculine state, right? And trying to prove, trying to chase, constantly seeking validation from outside. That's gonna eventually drain you.
Oh, right? 1,000%. Yeah.
And that's why embodied leadership and somatic coaching, what we do is that we bring the attention inside. And we create a different kind of world, a different kind of life based on going inside out. Once you fix things on the inside, the world starts to shift on the outside, because the universe is a mirror, right? If you're constantly in this space of lack, oh, I don't have enough recognition, I don't have enough achievements, I don't have enough validation, that's what the universe is going to show you. You're not going to get it because you're in a place of lack. Before you expect other people to see you, you need to see yourself. And this has been the story of every woman that I meet, right? And I went through it myself, and I'm like, I'm so great. My work is so incredible. Why don't people see it? Why can't my boss see it? Yeah, I see it. Because
No,
if
but
you
that's,
see
yeah,
it,
you're in your own head with it. It's,
yeah. And once you start to see it, once you start to really be confident in your work, you don't need it from the outside. It doesn't trigger you as much. And so the work is to go inward. And the girl boss movement, I see it as just another place where women are trying to prove themselves. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. But if you're constantly seeking validation from outside, then it's just, yeah, it's going to be a drain.
and when you're doing this type of coaching and this type of leadership training, I mean, this sounds very individualized, but you do this for corporations. How do you do it for like a corporation or a team within a corporation where obviously, more people, larger scope to try to like adjust in this way?
Yeah, yeah. So somatic coaching started with 1:1 work, but for me, it was like, okay, I can't just keep working with the women. We need to
Yeah.
change systems as well, right?
We need the allies.
We need the allies. So I basically start with explaining what the traditional way of leadership is. What are the principles that we follow there? And a lot of it has to do with competition, with binary thinking. I'll go a little bit deeper into these things later. There is a lot of judgment and assumptions. Like, I want to be the number one in this category. Those are the kind of goals
Yeah.
that we see that companies have. But then what this embodied leadership talks about is the opposite of it. No assumptions, having an open mind, coming out of binary thinking, because binary thinking is more like the either or thinking. The critique about the girl boss, right? Oh, you can be a girl boss, but then can you be a mom? Can you have it all?
Okay.
That's the binary thinking, because it limits your perception. And you start to get into, oh, I can't be a mom if I'm working full time. I can't be successful if I have all of these issues on the inside. I have to be perfect.
It's perfection. Yeah, I was going to say perfectionism on every level and on every front.
And once you start to come out of it, you're honestly coming out of binary thinking and just questioning everything just boosted my creativity. It made me think differently. It gave me different perspectives. And I think in the traditional leadership, we're always starting with a lot of assumptions.
Oh, yeah. You just have that unconscious bias.
Yeah. Yeah. There's just the unconscious bias. And in this work, you are more deeply connected to yourself. It's more about seeing yourself in a deeper way, owning, accepting all parts of you. And the results of that will show in how you show up, in how you connect with other people, in how you collaborate, in how you listen. And that's the work. So a lot of this work in a workshop element is more about self-awareness, but not just like, oh, these are my 5 strengths, these are my 5 weaknesses. It goes deeper than that. So it's like, truly, who are you without the masks? It goes deeper into maybe your conditioning. Who are your parents?
So it's so much different than just different transformational leadership journeys or courses that people would take to try to figure out their leadership style, because you're doing it from such a deep point in your personal being.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's when you realize that your leadership style might be very, very different from a lot of other people. If you're shy, right? And that's okay. People think, oh, if I'm shy, if I'm not extroverted, I can't be a leader. But you can.
Yeah.
There are ways. When you come out of binary thinking and you question these thoughts and beliefs, you will find a way. And that's what brings creativity back into your world. Yeah, I had like, my sister would tell me like, I'm not creative. I'm not creative. And I'm like, who told you that? And it was a perception that she had, but she was always being creative. If you're being resourceful in life, you are creative. Creativity is just how you solve problems, right? And
that's a great point.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be just art and things like that, or what you're telling kids, like to be what courses when you're a child are considered creative, music and art and kind of ends there.
Absolutely. And you can bring that creativity into your work. in how you're parenting, you're mothering, in your relationships. I mean, it's so powerful when you start to question things. So it's basically a way to unlearn some of the things that you've been conditioned with and start to question things. So it's basically giving you tools, the basic principles of building a life that aligns with who you are. And that might go into seeing what your values are. Have you ever done that? What are your values like? I have my top 5 values, right? My top 5 values are truth, openness, connection, adventure, and fun, and sharing my gifts. So those are my values. Now, everything that I do in my life I filter it based on my values. There are 100 ways to build my business. I could do newsletters, I can do email marketing, I can do social media, I can do this. Does it align with what I want to build? That's what I look at it through the lens of.
Well, the authenticity there then, because it's truly coming from like the core of yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you are not constantly assuming, right? Because our mind is filling in the blanks. That's how the mind works. Ego, it's like, oh, you gave it 5 words, it made it into a paragraph, right? And that's the meaning that your mind is making out of everything. Like, I remember this when I was in grade 1, and I would sit in this language class I wasn't supposed to take it, but I would sit there because as soon as a teacher would walk in, all the kids just walk out and go to the library, the ones that were not taking that language course. And I just think that's disrespectful. And I would sit there.
Yeah.
And I would sit there and I stayed for a whole year. And she's like, you don't have to stay. And I don't know why 6-year-old me thought that's disrespectful. So I should stay. I want to be kind to her at the cost of my own playtime or being time, you know? So we do this. We making meaning out of everything that's happening. It was another one. Somebody told me, an Ayurvedic practitioner, he told me, you're fragile. He said, your body is fragile. And I was like,
okay.
What? No way. I'm not fragile. I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to lift weights.
You had a baby, for crying out loud.
No, this was more when I was an adult, and I had gone to see an Ayurvedic practitioner for some things that I was going through. And that's when he told me, and even at that time, I was probably, I don't remember, 25 or 26. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to show them I'm not fragile, and pushed myself really hard. Yeah. And I do realize that there might be some truth to what he was saying, but it was just, I couldn't accept it.
Yeah, no. Because when you're given that kind of negative, in your mind, negative feedback, where it might not actually be negative feedback, I think that women are then just like, put it on the to-do list. Well, I've got to do that. Well, especially if you're an A-type, eldest daughter vibes over here. Like the minute someone tells me like, oh, well, you should do this, or have you thought about taking a course like that? They're like, at some point, as in like in maybe, a couple years, or when you have time. And I'm like, I'm going to sign up tonight. It's happening. I have to do it right now. It has to happen right now. Like I have to obviously perfect this right now. I can't have this open-ended, not a mistake, but just part of me that obviously isn't perfected that someone else noticed.
Yes, exactly. And in that moment, I'm like, fragile is less. Yeah. It's less than others, So that's the meaning. But really, it could just mean like, okay, I need to ease into things. It's just as simple as that. Don't go like diving
full on in. Yeah.
Be careful with your body, be more considerate, listen a little bit more. So those are lessons, and that tells me what my mind is making meaning of, everything constantly.
Well, you're competing with yourself then at that point, and and then you go to a gym and then you're competing with everyone else around you. Because you're like, well, there's like an unspoken rule. If you're running at a gym, you have to be at the same pace as one of the people next to you. You can't be slower. That's like, it's just some weird mental rule where you're like, well, if they're at 6, I have to be at 6. And I'm like, it doesn't matter that they're 2 feet taller than me and their strides are bigger. Like we have to be at the same pace, obviously. Like that won't work. And it's some weird like competition.
Yeah. And women are constantly doing that, right? Constantly trying to prove, running the rat race and never stopping to just see what's inside. What do I really want? Because when women come to me in my coaching containers, and the first thing I ask, what do you do for yourself? Not for
Yeah.
your children, not for this, not for your health. What do you do that literally gives you joy? Silence. They have no answer.
Oh, no, no, I wouldn't have an answer. I'd be like,
Yeah.
watch TV. I sit with my cat. Like, I put a face mask on. Like basic self-care things that I should be doing anyways. So, yeah, think
So,
about it.
so it's a bit like, wow, I don't do anything for myself, and it's just that we've outsourced everything. And there's just, so what embodied leadership does, it just brings you back to the center, brings you back
Yes.
into the body. Because if you're staying here, you're just looping, you're staying in your mind and looping. As soon as you drop into the body, your capacity increases, your bandwidth increases, and you connect with the innate intelligence that your body has, the gut instinct. I had this woman who was probably like 35, like 38, maybe 30s, ask me, what is intuition? She said, I have no idea what intuition is. And it's this, on one side, it is this perfectionistic part of her. And she had to just get a definition of it. And somebody had to tell her. But I was like, really, slow down. Just slow down and listen to actually, what do you want to do? Your body will tell you. Because otherwise, you're constantly like, can you do this? Yes. Can you do that? Yes. I'm available.
We're always available. It's always yes. Don't worry, I'll figure it out. I'll just do it for you.
And if you slow down, you feel the contraction in the body.
Oh, 1,000%.
You'll feel the tightness in the throat and you'll be like, damn, I don't really want to do this.
Yeah.
So one is the awareness. First, even realizing, pausing enough to realize that, wait, this is not what I want to do. These are not the projects I want to be a part of. And then getting the courage to tell people and draw boundaries. That's part 2.
I mean, and one of your missions is, you're trying to move from like competition to collaboration. And when women are trying to figure out what their intuition is, or moving too fast, or just trying to get everything done and be perfected at everything and be an expert on everything, how do you feel that mission is really going to be able to come to fruition, especially with men and women?
Yeah, I think this is the era of nuance, because for the longest time we were stuck in like, either this or that, this is right, this is wrong. And I think really there is no right or wrong. That's the conditioning. If you look at like movies, and there is always a good guy and a bad guy, and a hero and a villain. And so we think we projected good guy, bad guy. In the political world as well, if you see good guy, bad guy, it's constantly our mind is doing it. Don't do that. Come out of it. That's binary thinking, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Really look at the root. Go a little bit deeper to see the actions are the symptoms. The root is the belief system, is the conditioning that you received. And once you start to see that, the actions start to make sense.
Yeah.
So it's not the person that's bad. It's the action that they could likely change so that they're not oppressing people or whatever it is that they're doing. So I see it as slowing down enough to just see things from different perspectives. And there was this person at this party I was speaking to, and he's like, they're too powerful. We can't do anything. And I'm like, that's a belief system.
Yeah, that's not a fact. It's not something that's being readily distributed. It's in your mind.
It's in your mind. And now watch what happens. Thoughts lead to feelings, lead to sensations, lead to behavior. So now he's like, I just have to enjoy my life. I can't really do anything. And I'm like, you've just given up.
Yep.
You've just given your power away. But his actions are actually a result of his thought systems and the conditioning that he's constantly seeing at his workplace. Look at how much money they have. He works at a bank.
Yeah.
Look at how much they're 200 years old bank. They've been doing this for years. How can I fight them? And that's where I would say that if that's all you see, if that's what you believe, that's all you see.
Yeah.
And I've been there. I've been the
Well, it's
pessimistic.
like, yeah, like you
Always
said, you had to
negative.
take things out of your life. You had to take the mainstream media and like the books and the things like that. But if that's what you're watching and your internal algorithm or your algorithm of your life is feeding you,
It's
then what
feeding
do
me.
you do?
Yeah. And for me, when I became a parent, I was like, I can't be a pessimist. That's not what I want to pass on to the next generation. So I
Hmm?
got intentional on purpose. I was like, okay, how can I up level? Because I was feeling very scared about becoming a mom. I was the primary
Yeah,
breadwinner
it's
in
a
the
lot.
home. So I was like, how am I going to manage being a primary breadwinner and taking care of being a mom and la di da di da? And I think it was a sense of trust in the universe, trust in people showing up. That kind of just made me go like, and then trust in yourself because you've
Yeah.
solved problems before. You've been resourceful before. So you're going to figure it out. I think most people, and I see this nowadays a lot, very uncomfortable with uncertainty.
Oh, okay. Hi.
Me too.
Right over here. It's like, hi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's been a process becoming comfortable with uncertainty. And with AI right now, this guy, I don't know his name, the CEO of Salesforce, he said
Mark
that.
Benioff.
Yes.
Yeah.
He said that everyone's uncomfortable right now. Everyone's constantly feeling uncertain with the way AI is changing. And I see AI as the mirror, right? It's literally, it can do everything better than you. So now people are like, holy shit, what's my value? Why am
Yeah.
I here? All the skills that I spent 30 years working, they're not valid anymore. And this is the work. I think we're finally getting the opportunity to be, because we've been doing.
Yeah.
And that's where our
Yeah.
work
Use it to optimize and use it to better your work
lies.
situation. But yeah, you got to get on the train. I think you got to figure it out. You've got to be a part of it. You have to, it's not going anywhere. It's only going to get bigger. It's only going to. And if you're trying to be anti or stay away from it, you're going to get left behind. And
Yeah.
that's going to be that, what we just talked about having that like unconscious or just conscious being in the meaning of like the uncertainty of everything.
Yeah. It's an alien feeling for most
Yeah.
people, slowing down, right?
1,000%.
Because we've been on it for so long that now it's an alien feeling. I mean, the first time I experienced safety, I was about 29 years old and I discovered women's circles. And I'm in that space and I felt safety for the first time. I'm like, oh my God, is this what it feels like? The masks came off and I could finally see myself, experience who I was when there was safety.
Yeah.
And it was glimpses of it that I got whenever I was in circle, but at least it gave me an idea and it allowed me to feel things. And that's when the anger came up about everything that's going on outside with the world. So processing that anger is definitely a part of women's work as well. I see women are angry. They are sharing their opinions and totally valid. I don't want to invalidate anybody's experience, but the next step is to move beyond that and to have conversations and listen.
That's where you're going to get the solutions.
That's where you're going to have the solutions, because when we blame and constantly do that, the other side just gets defensive.
Oh, yeah. And then you're defending yourself. And so it's just a hectic circle. Yeah.
It's a cycle. And as just the walls come up, shame comes up. And yeah, that's not fruitful. And I get that it's been many, many decades, centuries of this, and it's really hard. And that's the inner work. That's our work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that the challenges will remain. Are you going to stop becoming a leader? Are you going to stop becoming visible just because the criticism is through the roof? You're not. That's if you want to be a leader, then your body's going to guide you there. And then you're going to have a sense of making some level of peace with it. And show your whole self. The more women show their whole selves, I mean, I'm really inspired by AOC. You know, you see her in those rooms where the parliament is, the Congress is, and she's herself. She's showing her anger. And she said, I don't like the way you are treating the planet and the people and everything. And show it, put it out there, make purpose out of it. Most women feel uncomfortable feeling their anger. Use the anger not just to blame, get purposeful with it.
I mean, hence to my office, but like the Barbie movie, I think when, in the very beginning and they're in the court with all the other Barbies and she's like, this makes me emotional. And that does not diminish the fact that I know what I'm talking about and I know what I'm doing. It actually empowers me. And I was like, yes, Barbie. Yes, it does the whole time. But it was everything that movie was every stereotype that like we're told is just for women or it's a negative. And like they turned it around. They're like, no, it's not. Like Barbie does it. So like you should be doing it. This is what happens in the real world.
Yeah. And I think I saw it on Instagram somewhere. Somebody said, but everything that women like is diminished, is less.
Oh, yeah.
If you like astrology, it's less. If you like makeup, it's vain. If you like romance novels, you're so fluffy,
All the things.
All the things, like you're not serious, as if you learn nothing out of rom-coms. Hey, that's where you learn how to do relationships.
Literally. Right? And you're like, yeah, I want to be treated like that. It is possible. It's not just a movie. There are people that will treat you right like that.
Yeah. And so I think there was this phase where I had to reclaim these things, I had to, because I wouldn't share this part of me. And even after the break that I've taken from corporate world and I was going back to doing workshops and everything, there was a part of me that was like, yeah, don't say this. They're not going to receive it. Don't say it like this. What about this? Change this. And I was like, you know what? This is who I am. This is what I'm going to share. This is my truth. I know it works. I've seen it work. It's take it or leave it.
Yeah, but you have to have those personal like boundaries for yourself. Yeah, and I feel like, boundaries has been the hit word for the last couple of years, but like, it's true. Like it takes women longer to develop. Men already had like unconscious boundaries all the time and women didn't. And now we're really sticking to them or creating them and then working on sticking to them, which is also terrifyingly hard.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's hard. So there was this sense of like, be small, be this, be that. This is what they expect. Focus on outcomes, focus on results. And I'm like, this is deep work. So if you're not willing to face it, then you're probably not my client. Right. So it's this whole thing where you're like, this is my truth. Because even when Brene Brown, she started talking about vulnerability, everybody laughed at her initially. And she had decades of work to prove and back her findings, but she wasn't like accepted initially. In the corporate world, she was seen as, fluff, soft skills kind of thing.
Too emotional, all those things.
And she said that is core to building connection. Vulnerability is core. It changed the world of psychology, of connections, relationships, and then she was giving talks at Google and Apple and all of those places. So you got to keep at it. You got to keep at it. You got to keep talking about it. You can't change yourself or change your work. You've got evidence, you're living it. Then share it with the world. Share your truth with the world. Yeah.
Absolutely. And what do you want to see from corporations to understand about, or what do you want corporations to understand about women in leadership for 2026? Because we're going into, a really difficult geopolitical environment. We're going in with the statistics we just found out from women in the workplace research. And, it's a daunting moment. What do you really want corporations to try to look at for this next year?
Yeah, stop trying to fix them. See them in their wholeness, accept them as they are. I've seen the way men talk about like the women, right? And it's always like, oh my God, she's so arrogant. I just don't like her. These kinds of statements, that's bias. Okay.
Yeah.
Look at it. Why don't you like her? There's something about her that's triggering you. look at the trigger, because you are judging yourself for the same thing that you're judging the woman
Oh,
for.
definitely. You're projecting like none other 95% of the time.
Yeah. So seriously, go deeper, because AI has pulled the rug out from under the people, and the insecurities are rising to the surface. And if you don't see the reality for what it is, then AI is just going to amplify it. AI is going to amplify the biases that we have, because it's absorbing all of
Yeah,
it.
it's learning from us and 1000%.
And it is amplifying the inequality. And things are about to get worse, because now AI is doing everything from hiring to promotions to performance analysis. Look at content. Like, there was a recent experiment some other women did, and they said they changed their gender on LinkedIn to male.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Mm-hmm.
Private setting, and they found out that they got more interaction and engagement on their posts, and LinkedIn denies it, but this is the algorithm at work. They're not even aware of it at this point.
Yeah.
Right. And if you look at social, on Instagram even, it gives priority to posts about women that are in bikinis or naked or whatever, because it knows that gets more attention. It knows that gets more attention.
Well, yeah, how did the Kardashians have a career?
Yeah. So if we don't see it for what it is, then it's really just going to amplify the problems that we're facing. And it doesn't mean that men are not facing the same problems. They are. They're just not aware of it, right? They have a little more privilege, a little more pushy box. So they're happy to be in their box. But yeah, and because I was seeing this, I created this workshop. It's called Embodied Leadership in the Age of AI. And I literally talk about what AI is doing. I help people go a little bit deeper to see how their AI is responding to them. And the issue is, before you go to AI, do the inner work.
Yeah. No, it's been like those things that you see where people are like, I don't have a therapist. I'm just using ChatGPT. And I'm like, that's not good. That's not good. Yeah. Like, you should be using a therapist. I'm like, because it's taking what you say to it and creating these things. And guess what? Half the time, a therapist isn't going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm like, because they're listening and they're, filling their own criteria and their different education. You could be asking it in another chat about how to make spaghetti. That's not going to help it when you're asking it these deep, like, very emotional questions about yourself and your inner work.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there have been studies that are showing that if you write something like this, the way you prompt is how it responds. So if you say, like, I don't know what this is that I've written, I've just rambled on, can you please make sense of it? And AI goes like, let's see what we can salvage out of this, Whereas if you said, I've had these brilliant ideas, let's try to make sense of my ramblings. And AI be like, oh my God, this is brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like all how you put into it, but that's also how you speak to yourself though.
Yeah.
And how you take it. So like, that's super interesting. I didn't even think to register that when it's doing it.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. And as soon as you say, oh, but you're wrong, this is not how it is, you're absolutely right. I'm wrong. So it's literally just mirroring you. And if you don't have a deeper level of self-awareness, it's going to fool you.
No, 1000%. I can see that.
So I see the need to build up our own critical thinking and to kind of protect our minds, our brains. I think it's giving us the time and the opportunity to become whole. And now it's up to you how you're going to use it. Are you going to use AI as a tool to better our world and society? Or are you going to use it to just more do, more productivity, more create more stuff? That doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be a really interesting time. I mean, it's either going to go really, really great, or it's going to go really, really bad. And I just hope humanity can hold on to some of its humanity and
I see
push through it.
Since I've become more optimistic, I see things changing.
Yeah.
And it's very subtle. It's very small. But the coaching course that I was doing with Institute of Coaching Mastery, there were 400 people on it. And I was like, what? These many people are interested in doing this level of deep work. And I was like, hey, that's great. I was like, that sounds great. And I teach my son now.
Mhm.
My son is 3. He's more emotionally attuned than most grown-ups I
Oh, I
know.
believe that. Yeah.
And all of his teachers are like, what are you doing? How's this happening? And so I did a parenting workshop and they were just mind blown. And I taught them how you're projecting it onto the child.
Yeah. Your emotions are going to like spike their emotions.
Your dysregulation is causing their dysregulation, is prolonging. And I honestly just found these things experimenting as a parent. I
Yeah.
stumbled upon these things through the somatic work that I do. And I was like, I'm going to teach this to my son. Let's see what happens. And great positive results. So I see hope. I see people caring about how they use AI. And I see so many women being AI ethicists and, educating people. And I think it's not going to be an either or, and it never is most of
Yeah.
the time, right? That's the binary thinking that makes you go like either it's utopian or it's dystopian.
Yeah.
It's going to be both. And I see more people waking up. I'm talking to companies right now that I would have never thought would be interested in this kind of a workshop. So there's me. That's me questioning my own assumptions.
Yeah. But I think we're going to be doing that, for a couple more years until I don't even know if we'll ever have a handle on it because it's always going to be growing and it's always going to be changing and adapting. So it's going to be a really interesting time. But I think the fact that you're doing these kind of courses, I mean, this is what's going to help all
Yeah.
these different people who are, it's going to affect every single one of us. So
Yeah.
you've got to keep learning and you've got to keep adjusting and figuring it out, like where you're going to fit into all of this.
Yeah. And drop into the body and you just find more trust, more hope, more capacity. And yeah, I think you'll find more hope as well.
No, and I love that. So as we're wrapping up, I like to ask all of my guests one final question. But if you could give one piece of advice to your 16-year-old self, what would that be?
It's all going to work out.
I love that.
I know
Right?
you're worried,
That's mine.
but
That's mine. It'd be
it's
okay.
all going to work out, really. Yeah.
It's so much pressure.
Yeah. So much pressure.
And women are putting on themselves at even a young age. You're like, it's going to be okay. Mine was always like, it's going to be okay. Have a hug. It's going to, it's going to be great.
I think it's you're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
Right? I think we're all on our own individual journeys and we do find our ways.
I love that. Well, tell everyone in the audience, we're going to put it in the show notes, but where they can find you, where they can find the workshops and you on socials.
Yeah. So you can go to my website. It's healherway.ca. You can find me on Instagram at healherway, or you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, and you can find all of these on my website as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I thought this conversation was so meaningful and so powerful, even for me. And that's why I love doing these. But I think it's going to reach a lot of people and, really help women through this and understand like there are these possibilities and there are things that we can do to try to get through all of these really emotional times we're going through currently.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the questions that you asked me. I think you have a really sharp perception as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So I can't wait. We're going to have you back on and we're going to see what's going on with AI and everything in a couple months because it's evolving so fast.
Yeah, absolutely. I love to come back. So yeah, thank you so much. I love
Thank
to talk to you. So.
Awesome. Well, everybody, we will see you next week and we really appreciate you being here. Bye.